This is Radio Taiwan International.
Welcome to the news on Radio Taiwan International. I'm Phil Laskowski coming to you from Taipei, Taiwan. We begin with a look at today's top stories for Thursday, July 17th. President Lai and Guatemalan Congress President promised deeper bilateral cooperation. No outside activity during drills, MRT operating normally. And Taiwan's foreign minister meets Brazilian legislator, seeks substantial relations. But first, today's top story. President Lai Ching-te met with Guatemala's president of the Congress, Nery Abilio Ramos y Ramos, and a cross-party congressional delegation on Thursday, expressing condolences over the recent earthquake in Guatemala and thanking the Congress for their continued support. The meeting was marked by Ramos hand-delivering the Chinese translation of Guatemala's resolution to support Taiwan's international participation. Ramos presented the Guatemalan Congress's second resolution supporting Taiwan's participation in the World Health Assembly and a statement opposing China's misinterpretation of UN Resolution 2758. President Lai thanked Ramos and the Congress for their concrete support of Taiwan, promising that Taiwan will continue to work cooperatively to safeguard the shared values and interests of both countries.
I offer special thanks to Congressional President Ramos for his continued support for Taiwan's international participation, not only for signing the pro-Taiwan resolution on Congress's behalf, but also issuing a statement over China's erroneous interpretation of UN Resolution 2758. We are very grateful for the support of both Ramos and the Guatemalan Congress.
Guatemala and Taiwan have been friendly for over 90 years, cooperating across a variety of fields, including women's empowerment. Last month, Guatemala's President Bernardo Arevalo also led a delegation to Taiwan, where he witnessed the signing of multiple bilateral cooperation documents and signed a letter of intent to begin cooperation in semiconductors as well. Lai said that Taiwan will continue negotiations to promote mutual industry development. Ramos said Guatemala holds its relationship with Taiwan in high regard, especially as international pressures grow increasingly complex. He says this cross-party visit should be viewed as a proof of that regard and that Guatemala looks forward to future cooperation for the betterment of people's well-being. Urban resilience drills took place in northern Taiwan from 1:30 to 2 p.m. this Thursday, during which civilians were not allowed to drive, walk, or bike outside. Metro Taipei says the MRT trains would be operating normally during this time and passengers could enter the stations but wouldn't be able to leave the stations until the drills were over. Yilan, Keelung, Taipei, New Taipei, Taoyuan, and Hsinchu counties and cities all conducted the drills on Thursday, including alarm release, evacuation, and traffic control. Metro Taipei says the Maokon Gondola is included in the list of services that will be functioning regularly, while businesses at underground shopping streets around Taipei Arena Station and the Taipei's Children Amusement Park, the East District, and Zhongshan Station were suspended. Passengers are also asked to follow on-site personnel to the shelter during this time. According to Taipei City Information and Tourism Department, mobile phone alerts and an air raid alarm mark the start and finish of the drill. The beginning of the exercise was marked with one long tone followed by two short tones, and the all-clear signal is one 90-second tone. Drill violators could be fined, with violations including not obeying control commands, insisting on driving, refusing to comply with evacuation instructions, riding a bicycle or walking on the street, and otherwise not cooperating with on-site traffic control. Fines for violation range between $1,000 to $5,000 in accordance with the Civil Defense Act, Article 25. Taiwan's Foreign Minister Lin Jialong met with Sao Paulo State Legislator Gil Diniz during a transit stop in Brazil, expressing strong interest in developing substantial relations between the two countries despite limited formal diplomatic ties. Lin used his return trip from visiting ally Paraguay to stop in Sao Paulo, where Diniz traveled to the airport to meet with the Taiwanese delegation. The two officials exchanged views on Taiwan-Brazil relations and international developments, with Lin emphasizing Brazil's importance and Taiwan's desire to expand cooperation starting at the state level. Lin's visit to Paraguay centered on leveraging the South American country as a base for Taiwan to engage with the Southern Common Market, of which Brazil is the largest member. Lin noted that the Southern Common Market comprises nearly 300 million people and features external tariffs along with an internal common market. He emphasized that by establishing a science park there with various incentives, they could address current export tariff issues. Diniz, chairperson of the Sao Paulo State Legislature's Taiwan Friendship Group, acknowledged that publicizing their meeting would likely trigger Chinese pressure, but he said he remained committed to promoting Taiwan's values and friendship. The group, established in 2023, has worked to advance Taiwan-Brazil cooperation, with Diniz leading a delegation to Taiwan in December 2024. Appeasing Beijing is ultimately ineffective, according to Philippine Defense Secretary Teodoro. The country is gradually strengthening cooperation with Taiwan, including joint patrols, public denouncing of Chinese claims, no more ban on official visits, and visa-free entry for Taiwanese citizens.
The Philippines is gradually strengthening cooperation with Taiwan in the face of increased regional Chinese military pressure. The Washington Post has quoted Philippine defense officials, diplomats, and defense experts who say they have clearly changed their policy toward Taiwan to include more bilateral security collaborations, concluding that Chinese aggression is driving Manila closer to Taipei. When fielding a Chinese officer's question regarding increased U.S. arms sales to the region and setting up more military bases in the Philippines, Philippine Defense Secretary Gilbert Teodoro denounced Chinese claims in the South China Sea.
Thank you for the propaganda spills disguised as questions. No country in the world supports the 9-dash line claim of China, or the idea that waters within this 9-dash line are internal waters of China.
In an interview, Teodoro also characterized the security of Taiwan and the Philippines as being closely linked and supported Japan's regional strategic concept of treating the East China Sea, South China Sea, and Korean Peninsula as a single theater. Philippine President Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr. lifted a decades-old policy restricting official engagement with Taiwan in April, also granting Taiwanese citizens visa-free entry beginning this July. In addition to launching joint patrols in the Bassa Channel, the Philippines and Taiwan held a closed-door forum at the beginning of 2025 to discuss bilateral security issues, according to CNA. A Philippine-U.S. joint military exercise took place less than 200 kilometers away from Taiwan in May, named Exercise Balikatan. While the Philippine military emphasized that the exercise was not aimed at any specific country, analysts say that it was clearly a deterrent simulation of a Chinese invasion of Taiwan. According to the Philippines National Security Council, the country has endured Chinese military vessel encroachment, cyber attacks, espionage, and more threats to national security over the past year. Teodoro admitted that strengthening cooperation with Taiwan may lead to Chinese dissatisfaction, but stated that experience shows that appeasing Beijing is ultimately ineffective.
Central Election Commission Chairperson Lee Jin-young says that the KMT's usage of emergency vocabulary in regards to polls or election violates regulations, triggering backlash from the opposition party. Lee made the statement as he completed an inspection of the Taipei City Zhongshan District Office polling station operation on Wednesday morning. The KMT criticized Lee for double standards. KMT Organization and Development Committee Chairperson Xu Yuchen said that their vehicles are merely broadcasting "I am blue, I am proud, I will vote yes on July 26th and save the Kuomintang" and similar messages. She pointed out that the statements such as "if supporters do not come out to vote, every seat will be in danger," which she made in an earlier press conference, are not any different from the methods that DPP uses to hype up elections. Xu cited the DPP's claims that the KMT and TPP are responsible for the recent crippling budget cuts and its playing up of cross-strait tensions to influence the election situation. She pointed out that last year, the government even reframed a national alert message that a Chinese missile flew over southern Taiwan to manipulate the public into electing President Lai Ching-te. DPP Secretary General Rosalia Wu responded that Xu has never participated in an election and does not understand election procedures. She emphasized that people with election experience know that using emergency and rescue terminology to influence polls or elections is illegal, and this is a long-standing rule. The first wave of recalls of legislators will be voted on July 26th. Thank you for joining me for the news. I'm Phil Laskowski. Stay tuned for another 50 minutes of English language features brought to you by Radio Taiwan International.